Hey there, toy collector friends. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time, I am the Triple TC, that is the time traveling toy collector, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel, the Temporal Toybox. It's an absolute delight to have you, and the reason I'm putting this rather short video up is really by way of an introduction for those people who have found my channel quite recently. There's been a bit of an upturn in people following the channel quite closely and routinely commenting or sending me messages via Instagram. So I thought it'd be quite nice just to do a very brief introductory video to welcome those new people to the channel and to give people a sense of what may or may not be found amongst the various videos already uploaded, as well as those that may be coming in the future. So I joined the channel maybe about 3 years ago as I sit here in 2025. And it was down really to partly discovering a whole range of toys from my childhood, ranging from the sort of 70s and the 80s, that my mum had kept stored away at home that I had thought long since been disposed of. And it really rekindled something in me. So from that, I then had suddenly discovered a whole world of revisited media and revisited franchises that were seeing a resurgence. And I thought, wow, I could actually reclaim some of the stuff that's missing from my childhood collection, because as a child, I was very big on Star Wars toys, Mask toys, G.I. Joe, Action Force in the UK, Transformers, so you know, pretty much the standard stuff, but only the stuff you could get in the UK in the sort of the 70s and the 80s, which wasn't really the same as the massive international global markets. But I was very happy with what I did have, and it was wonderful. But now discovering that things like eBay, for example, and other online retail and auction sites, I was able to track down quite a few things that I'd lost over time, to additionally sort of augment the ranks of those things that I discovered that I still had, that I had no idea about. So I made the channel a bit of a discovery or rediscovery of some of the things that I'd thought was lost but had found, but also my newfound experience of identifying things that I didn't know I could get, whether it's some sort of third-party Unicron, a new Rodimus Prime that actually has articulation, Star Trek model starships for all the things we couldn't get as a child. Again, much more detailed and articulated Star Wars figures, as well as some of the things that were wonderful from my childhood. Oops. Yeah, I knocked things over. Like the GoBots. This is Tux, who was one of the bad GoBots. But when I started collecting them, they were Bandai Robo machines. They hadn't become GoBots at that point, and they were Robo machines before they were GoBots, and the Robo machines and the GoBots were out before the Transformers. G.I. Joe was the sort of true American core element of what we had as Action Force over here in the UK. Unbelievable things, as I say, like Unicron, albeit maybe a third-party version, because I missed out on the HasLab. I missed out on that first Transformers HasLab, and I say I missed out. I don't know what I'd have done if I'd bought it, because I don't know where I'd have put it. But all the Transformers HasLab since then, I've been on top of. Right down to things like Doctor Who figures. Back in the day, it wasn't until late 80s, early 90s, we started getting some Dapol, or Dapol, depending how you pronounce it, action figures, and they were really poor. And if you check out some of my other videos, you can see the ones I've got that are really, really poor. But you know what? These things came from a time when we were dependent on our imagination. Same with the old Transformers. Our imaginations made them live. Coupled with cartoons and comics, yes, but they made these things live. And of course, right down to one of the most amazingly simplistic things you could possibly imagine, a wind-up Mr. Greedy. This was one of the things that I found, and I nearly had a little moment to myself, because it was like, because I also found my wind-up Mr. Oh, who was it? I want to say Mr. Stupid, but I'm not sure if it is Mr. Stupid. but it's the one with the big nose and the hat. That doesn't narrow it down, does it? But anyway, Mr. Greedy is the one I've pulled out. If you can think of the name of the other one, leave it in the comments. That's, you know, because I'm obviously having a moment. But finding this was absolutely one of the so triggering in terms of connecting me immediately to happy times in my childhood. And I know that not everyone has happy times in their childhood, but sometimes the toys we had got us through some horrendous times and challenging times and difficult times. And in many ways, they helped us bond with the friends that we had at the time. In some cases, they may well have been the sum total of the friends we had at the time. So for everyone, toys tell a different story about their childhood. What you had, what you didn't have, what you imagined having, what you dreamed of having. And I think that's fantastic. I think it's wonderful. So I've just put a smattering of things here across different sorts of ranges, different sorts of toys, from soft plushy Moomins and Care Bears to gigantic Unicron to tiny Star Trek starships, although larger starships are available, to Friends figures, to GoBots, Doctor Who, Star Wars, collectible merchandise for movies like The Nightmare Before Christmas. I mean, there's so much out there, and they all touch us in different ways. And part of the reason I've got this channel is to explore and revisit some of those toys, whilst also looking at some of the newer toys that come out and going, wow, is this a great update of what we had? Or actually not so much. Were things better with our imagination, or are things better with superior articulation? And that's an ongoing discussion, and I'd love you to join those discussions. I'm not going to keep you here any longer. This was just to sort of welcome you to the channel, give a little bit of an overview if you're brand new. If you're already a member of the channel, or as in you're subscribed, that's fantastic. And thank you for staying to this point, because you kind of know all this. But if you are new, as I say, there's been a bit of an upturn, and that's great because I'm always trying to get to my next subscriber milestone. So if this kind of stuff interests you, or you might be interested in looking at Battlestar Galactica or more Star Trek, or magic tricks from the 80s, or various Star Wars type of stuff, you know, there's a lot across the channel already, and there's so much more to come. So if you are interested, by all means, like the video. It tells me I'm doing something of interest. And if you could drop a completely free subscription to the channel, that of course would be absolutely amazing. If you're also interested in physical media, whether that's sort of special edition DVDs or Blu-rays or steelbooks, or maybe special limited edition audio productions, or maybe even some collectible comics, things like that. Again, because they are adjacent to toy-related media, I will sometimes cover stuff like that. So have a little nosy about. I try and collate things into reasonably titled playlists so you can get a sense of what's going on. So have a look. You might find something of interest. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you here for the last 8 or 9 minutes. That's been fantastic that you've just bothered to have a little look and stayed for the rambling. Anyway, I have been the Triple TC. That is the time traveling toy collector. You've been a wonderful audience, and I really, really genuinely hope that I will see you again in a future video. And by all means, I look very much forward to seeing you in a past video or videos as you explore the channel. It just remains for me to say that things of beauty, they really are toys forever. Take care, and bye-bye for now.